doing right now is we're just looking at getting rid of some of this mass. We need to go a lot smaller. I'm actually making a dagger, and this dagger is actually going to be a little bit smaller dagger, but we need to get rid of some of this mass. So right now, this Fire Slayer Life has a 5/16 by 2-inch piece of 5160. So basically just a leaf spring. But this was a brand new leaf spring. So what we're doing is just trying to get down to a reasonable size. Okay, now that we have enough material pulled out, you can basically see that we've got enough material for the dagger. I prefer preforms, which is basically getting all the material where it belongs and then putting in the bevel, putting in the cutting edge. But today, because it can work both ways, I mean you can actually do this both ways, we're going to do run and gun. So basically what that means is we're actually just going to forge this out as we go. I personally like to make daggers. I think they're really neat to look at. They're also really neat to forge. What I'm doing now is actually forming the tip. So we're making this dagger with an integral guard. Here. And that's what we're doing now, is we're actually forging in this integral guard aspect of it. This would be more like a boot dagger. Now I usually will forge the handle first because I don't like to do the knife first, the tip of the knife first, because whenever you hold it in tongs, it actually gets some distortion in it. So this way now I can actually do the handle, and I can hold it in the tongs guided handle. It's not a great way, it's just a way, and it's what works for me. Okay, so that's pretty good there. I'm going to mark it to cut it. Actually, right about there. So what I'm looking for is I'm basically looking for about, and this is going to be almost half that thickness. So we're looking that since it's going to be half the thickness, we already know we're going to gain double the length, or actually it's not quite double. So it's like 1/3 the length, 1/3 of that double. Anyways, so about 1/3 the length. And we all ideally need about 4.5 inches, 4.5 inches to 5 inches of handle length. So we're going to take this down right now. It's our mark where we're going to cut. One of the things that doesn't get mentioned very often, that if I am cutting correctly on my hardy, and I'm hitting with the hammer correctly, the hardy and the piece of metal won't really bounce much. Now this hardy doesn't really fit this anvil very well, because this is actually designed to fit another anvil. But it's what I have in here. Okay, so now that it's been notched, now we can snap it off. This way it'd be easier. Doesn't look like much right now, does it? So the next part of this is to actually thin down the mass here, and then make this our length and our necessary width and taper and all that. So here you can see that this is about 4 inches, well 3 3/4 inches wide, or 3.5 inches wide. So we're already at 3 inches. So we'll easily gain that 4 inches mark. 4.5 by the time we're done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to create a little shoulder here, because this is going to have to be upset in the vise. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put a little shoulder in here now. And we're going to leave this straight-sided. You can see we lost some of that thickness, but we're going to basically leave this straight-sided, or flat, straight-sided. I'm sorry, actually I'm on the wrong side. It's the blade side we're leaving straight-sided. This side we're going to taper in some. Be careful of forming any cold shots. These are really easy to form right now because we're creating that shoulder. We don't want to pull that shoulder down and smear it. See the boss that I'm starting to forge or form. So what we're going to do now is actually pull in the integral guard. So now using the peen, I'm just going to pull this out a little bit, and that's going to tilt the blade some. That tilting of the blade, I'm tilting it towards me to try to direct that pressure to go into the part that I'm pulling out. And see how that kind of worked out. So you can see the high spot is actually in the center. And I pulled this side tapered, this side tapered. One more time here. Like so. One more time here. Like so. Looks a lot like a preform, doesn't it? So we want to be careful on these little tabs now, because now they're in the hot zone or danger zone. So now what we're doing is we're actually going to start thinning out this handle and getting it to the shape that we want. So I want to get just a little bit more width in the handle. So I come in with the peen and I pull that width out, not gaining much in length. And I'm going to come all the way up to where I just formed those integrated guard. And then I'm going to go right to there and pull it across. Correction. There's our shape. You can see we got plenty of length now. Pull it out a little bit more. Gain some of that width. Make it a little graceful. Flatten it out. Get that width we're looking for. So what we're looking for is an even thickness all the way across. Get our shape correct. By the way, don't be afraid to re-grip with your tongs. If you notice it's not where you want it to be, just do a re-grip. It doesn't really take much time. So there's our handle shape. Then a little cleaning. We don't have any smuts on it. Check out our overall layout. Level it out. Pull that out a little bit more. Make sure it's nice and clean. That's good. That's good. Okay. So you can see it really does look a lot like a preform. Because I'm so used to making preforms, the running good method for me is a struggle. Because I am so used to seeing the shape of the blade and then just putting the edge into where I want it to be. Doing this, it means that basically as you forge it, you are doing the corrections. You're always correcting when you're forging, but these kind of corrections to me don't really make as much sense. I mean, we're applying, these kind of corrections and everything to what we normally make, but from a knife standpoint, you can already see the shape that's taking place. So anyways, you'll see. So I'm going to pull just a little more width out here, and then I'm going to get rid of it. So what I'm looking to do is to get to a shape that I'm happy with. And a thickness, so a shape and a thickness. Yeah, that's pretty good. Level that up just a little bit more. Get it straight where I like it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to come back here and pull the edge down. You can make any little adjustments you need to make. Like so. Now one thing that happens when we come in here and do this correction, we actually create a swell on the cutting edge itself. So we actually get some swell just behind where we just pushed down. You can see now there's some swelling here. So now we're going to come in and get rid of that. we got a little bit more to do. That looks pretty good. So, I'm going to do one more heat, and then we're just going to clean that up some. So now that I have in here cleaned up, I'm going to come back and clean this up. Okay. So there we have it. And there's our basic running gun dagger. And what I'm going to do now is actually just take and just give a few quick licks with a rasp, and you'll be able to see the lines come out a little bit more. But actually, now that I'm looking here, I think I might want to pull that out. Nope, we're good. Okay, so I'm going to clean up here, clean up there. I'm going to pull these forwards. That'd be nice. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a few licks with the file to clean it up. It's still a little bit hot. Actually. Okay, so I cleaned up the handle some, and I think I want to make that right there just a little bit bigger. Just a little bit bigger. No, I guess maybe I don't. So anyways, there you have it. That is the running gun dagger forging of a blade. Thank you very much for watching.